Message from Pope Paul VI, signed by Cardinal Jean Villot to the Cardinal Sebastiano Baggio, President of the Pontifical Commission for Pastoral of Migration and Tourism. Mr. Cardinal, as in previous years, the Holy Father wishes to be present at the Day of the Migrant that is celebrated in the various regions of the world on the initiative of the Episcopal Conferences and promoted by the competent Pontifical Commission. At the beginning of Advent that inaugurates the annual liturgical cycle, the Sovereign Pontiff is pleased to express again his special memory full of affection and paternal request to all the emigrants spread across the 5 continents. This interest of the Common Father comes from the knowledge of the real conditions in which migrations continue to take place, which does not cease to highlight worrying shortcomings and imbalances in the field of human rights, as well as in the good organization of international relations. It is true that the progress made offers cause for encouragement, but it is desirable that they spread more and be oriented towards a radical arrangement of the phenomenon of migration starting from their own roots. This could be achieved by organizing the world economy as indicated by His Holiness in the Apostolic Letter Octogesima Adveniens. It would thus be possible to obtain a framework in which the promotion of the emigrant was ensured, according to the true right of man, understood in its objective foundations and in its vastest scope. This request is an integral part of the pastoral mission of the Church. The Holy Father has frequently insisted on the concrete efforts to be made to improve the living conditions of the emigrants, without disassociating them from the spiritual help that should be given to them. This year wants to draw attention to this last aspect and, more specifically, to an issue that has just been the subject of deep reflection of the Universal Church in the deliberations of the recent Synod, that is, the catechesis of children and young people. What to say about this issue in the world of emigration? The Church is double concerned to safeguard, on the one hand, the integrity of the Christian message, and, on the other, its effective transmission according to methods and forms adapted to the receptive capacity of the recipients, is observed above all in the way of guaranteeing catechesis to migrants and of taking advantage of the special opportunities presented by emigration. Indeed, a series of questions arise that are certainly not simple. How to properly take into account the mentality of emigrants and their children, language, degree of culture, level of religious formation, psychological behavior, family situation and environment, work, free time and entertainment, and, in short, the entire social and ecclesial context in which they live. The general principle that the Holy See has pointed out to pastoral organizations for emigrants is valid above all in this field of youth catechesis, to organize services adapted to their mentality and language. The main role corresponds to the family, but this one needs help and support, since the instability of the emigrants often disintegrates the family group. In this regard, the Sovereign Pontiff, while expressing again his esteem for the public and private institutions that work for the unity and prosperity of the family affected by emigration, strongly wishes that measures that do not sufficiently protect or even interfere with the good of the family and its educational mission be abolished or at least substantially rectified. In this family perspective, the problems of the catechesis of the children of emigrants, especially children, find their own place. The Church is deeply sensitive to the painful dramas of which they are often the first victims, and that cause devastations and tears endorsed even by the law. Dramas that make them meet between different languages, cultures, mentalities, and customs, and force them to live in environments lacking climate and the indispensable means of education. The situations vary depending on whether the children remain in their land with some relatives or live abroad, the vicissitudes of emigration, not to mention the situation of the parents themselves. The special difficulties experienced by young emigrants cannot be silenced because of situations that exacerbate the trauma between generations and the impact of new ideas and customs. The action of the Church, of the priests, of the religious the lay catechists, is destined to reach multiple dimensions in order to put into practice a catechesis that is authentic, integral, and really adapted to the world of migrants and to its various aspects. It is an immense task that involves and requires serious preparation. The Sovereign Pontiff has a great interest in missionary priests, striving to constantly improve the fulfillment of catechetic obligations in the total context of their priestly mission. Without forgetting human and social values, they must give priority to the spiritual, to catechesis and preaching, to liturgical life, and to the administration of the sacraments. At the same time, the Holy Father wants to express his paternal esteem for the various initiatives that the zeal of the bishops and missionaries has been putting into practice with a creative spirit in the school and educational fields. He especially remembers the school programs conceived and carried out in order to give pedagogical and scientific training to the children of emigrants, taking into account their projects for the future, whether they are permanently established in the country of immigration or if they plan to return to their homeland. The Sovereign Pontiff pleases these institutions and wishes that the public authorities understand their intentions and purposes and provide them with adequate assistance. Finally, the Holy Father, moved by the manifestation of filial love of the many messages from emigrants from all over the world that came to him on the occasion of his 80th birthday, warmly thanks them and sends everyone the apostolic blessing. Glad to convey this message, I beg you to also accept, Mr. Cardinal, the expression of my fraternal feelings in Christ. Cardinal Jean Villot.